Oh my gosh, I just found this out. This is really crazy news. Jesse Pinkman is going to be in season 3 of Ozark. Just kidding, he's not. Anyway, thanks for joining me here at the Fanatics of Film. My name is Ben, and thanks for destroying that like button for me. Thanks for joining me, and I'm going to give a quick character analysis of season 1 and how it's kind of intertwining with everything. Just a real quick couple minutes here. Why this show is so amazing and successful is because every single character is extraordinarily memorable and likable regardless of what they are doing. All the story threads are so interconnected and do nothing but connect the fabric of the entire larger story. Nothing is seen as a sidetrack. Everything is so relatable and easily understood. Every situation is well thought out and every motivation clearly presented and properly tackled in a creative and interesting way. All the characters stay true to an actual believable person, and you feel like you're in that situation deciding with it. And also one of my favorite parts about this is the simplistic quality and tastefulness that is the music in this. The music is a perfect approach to evoking the true simplistic suspense with complex characters and drives a constant intrigue with every single storyline. And it's extremely simple, but it's perfect for what they're driving at. I really believe this. So at the end of season 1, kind of this is all this coming together. We got old man Buddy Deeker points out that if his ex-wife and he would have had it out like that, because he's talking to Wendy about their argument, because they had a big Wendy and Marty had this large argument about things, and that they might have still. He says that if he had an argument with his wife about that, they would have stayed together. I think this is this is an important and unique story to tell, because the fact that Marty can be convinced that even though he was betrayed by Wendy, he can still forgive and build back the once true love that he felt for her, because you do feel that you feel like they truly do love each other, or at least at some point did love each other to a certain degree. And so every episode is extremely eventful, and it propels the story far forward. Marty records evidence against himself to create a possible trust in Rachel. In front of Rachel, gives, and that's something that might come up later. Very interesting stuff. Wendy expresses the fact that she doesn't trust Rachel, and that they hide all the money in one of Rachel's properties. Marty and Wendy briefly discuss the importance of the fight and don't find a resolution whether they would or wouldn't still be together. But I think that the important thing here is that they are remaining together and really appreciate each other's part in their goals. And so you see that kind of building when they have to face opposition together. Like it's like they're pretty much, at the beginning of season 1, they're pretty much enemies because of Wendy's transgressions, or whatever you want to call them, and having that happen, being this disgruntled friction that's happening between Wendy and Marty. And now you see them building that back up, because they have to come together. The enemy of my enemy is my friend type of thing. So that's really interesting, and it's really been interesting to see them build it together. And it's funny how Marty, Jason Bateman's character, Marty, he's kind of he delivers all of his lines just like he did in Arrested Development, which is so funny. But he does everything to such a very specific, confident point. He's so confident in his delivery with everything that he says that you just can't escape its believability. And so they're remaining together and really appreciate each other's parts and their goals, and that they are realizing how much they need each other for more reasons than one. So they're realizing each other's value to each other. So, and of course there is some of that that love kind of love and a mutual respect that's gone there, and we're now in season two, where Wendy is kind of getting in her she's getting back into her comfort zone, back into her political lobbying and such, and so that's been, when Marty notices that, he remembers that, it brings him back to seeing the old Wendy again. So once again reinforcing all that. That's been really cool. Russ Langmore is caught in a pinch here, and he was played by Roy Petty, played by Roy Petty, the FBI agent. So Roy Petty, it's funny that his last name's Petty because everything he does is kind of petty. It's kind of funny that the way he plays everybody and just plays into their complete and total weakness. But now that we're getting into in the beginning of season 2 here, he's starting to, you see his weakness too, and you see that he's kind of letting himself fall into his own addictions and craziness. So anyway, Russ and Wood plan to kidnap and steal Marty's money. They realize that this might be the only way out of this. Ruth rigs the dock for them because she sees that Russ is a rat. And it's crazy because it's like she's killing only members of her family because she feels like she trusts Marty. It seems like she feels like she trusts Marty. Jonah Bird's whole story is particularly insightful. His entire reason for living is constantly being jostled. He continues to notice that the threats that his family is undergoing. He's, like a 12 or 13-year-old kid, and constantly finds his own bravery being challenged. He has to step up regardless of what others may think or what he actually thinks. He knows that his family is in peril, and he recognizes that others around him are probably underestimating his ability to make any difference. I suspect that his whole story of acquiring a gun might be a commentary on gun control, but I won't get into that, of course, but needless to say, I find that the character overwhelmingly compelling, and part of me wishes that I was this 12 or 13-year-old experiencing it firsthand, just so I could experience the story from the ground up. His story is truly eye-opening and addictive. I really feel that because of the things he had to undergo, and he's kind of having he's forced into bravery. This little kid is being forced into bravery. I mean, this little kid, 12-year-old, is fighting, having to stand up to cartel. That's pretty unique stuff. And Buddy is a really interesting character because there's a bond between him, because you find there's a certain recollection, or excuse me, there's a certain amount of absence that that Buddy is having to fulfill, and being that kind of father figure type of thing. So Buddy's kind of being like the grandpa to Jonah. And Buddy finds the gun where he hides and unloads the weapon. As audience members, we see this as a problem. However, we will see it as a really good thing later, when his own challenged morality is questioned later in the beginning of season 2. So there's a lot to that. And that's it seems like a small story point at first, but it keeps coming back, and it's really great how these interwoven plot points are extremely well written. I'm just so thoroughly impressed with the writing of this series. So well thought out. The relationship building of Wyatt and Ruthie is quite extraordinary. Seeing them hug in the penultimate episode of season 2, Coffee Black, was great. We have seen the two of them bond over being the two smartest people in their situation. Ruthie feels her own jealousy nip at her heels when she says, "You're finally getting out." So she's really feeling that and being jealous of it. Next, we see the entire family wrapping the money in plastic to avoid rats and their rodents from turning the bills into a nest, and it is comical and serious at the same time. I see this as a pretty insightful, manipulating the audience into guessing whether the scene is supposed to be funny or sad. So, Not like Star Wars, not like The Last Jedi, but you know what I mean. Anyway. Family eating burgers after the money is well hidden in the walls. Russ and Boyd both get cooked by the rigged dock. The power goes out everywhere. So it would have been interesting to see if Russ and Boyd had made it to the family and, you know, robbed the family. And this makes the power going out makes this scene believable. I don't know how any instances where this has happened in recent events that I know of, but they are all realizing that the electrocution was planned. Marty realizes that Ruthie had just barely drove out of the area in a few minutes, and Marty is realizing Ruthie is trying to decide, is she an ally, is she not? You know, he's figuring it out. Also, one of the most amazing parts about this show is that the writing is stellar. The intertwined subplots all surface for a reason, only to outline the individual character's arc. For example, in the pilot, you see in the second episode, out of the pilot of the second episode, you have Tuck. It's the character, the kid with Down syndrome. He loves the song Still the Same, and he's playing that over and over again. And you have Ruth say, you know, hey, so what do you think about, check out some of this old school hip hop? And then literally later on, like I think 3 or 4 episodes later, you see him saying, you know, spitting out all these comments about old school hip hop and like how that kind of inspired him to get into more music. So that was just it was a cool thing to see that happen. And I guess done in a different context, it may not have been as so rewarded. But the way it was done, all of that, the way it was done, the tastefulness, the quality of how this was done was so well done, so extraordinary. Anyway, that's my recap of season 1. Thanks for watching. This has been the Fanatics of Film, and I appreciate you so much. And please destroy that like button, and please hit the subscribe button and leave a comment. I'd love to talk to you about Ozark. Do you like it? Do you find it as rewarding as some of these other crime dramas? Thank you so much. My name is Ben, and this is the Fanatics of Film. And please hit that like button. Have a great day.